Hello, and welcome to another wonderful season of Jack Knows Best. I, of course, am Jack, and of course, I am back. Unfortunately, though, Underdog does not allow us to play in Ontario. And so, I will be focusing more on my roles as a host.
But look, I already told you at the end of last season that this show is now Dave Fiorella Knows Best. So we're just waiting for Dave to officially hop in here.
Need Dave to get the update the graphics and so on and so forth.
Dave has to. We have to schedule Dave out though. He's got to. We got to give him plenty of time so he can grace us with his presence.
Busy man,
and not too busy to join us here tonight is the lovely @nonsense_Steve Bonham.
I don't know about lovely. I'm okay.
I would say you are pretty lovely.
And of course, it's Jack Knows Best, so I've got Jack.
Woo!
Got the full mustache ride ready to go. You
And
get yours at shop.importantnonsense.com right now.
Get your own personal mustache ride at shop.importantnonsense.com. And you can also find work on importantnonsense.com from the fantabulous _Mike_Manning.
Yeah, I can't wait to get this first best ball done, see if I can improve on last season's stellar season.
Stellar season indeed it was, and it was a joy to have you on so often. And it is a joy, as always, to work with the newly handled @PFF_Mace, making his, I believe, debut on camera since joining.
That's right. I'm new here. I hope you guys take it easy on me. No, I appreciate that intro, Jack. Yeah. I'm super excited for what the season has to come. And now I've got all the data at my fingertips. So you boys are in trouble. My PFF Ultimate password is under lock and key, and you guys aren't getting it over me. I'm gonna take you guys to the brink this year. So
don't you worry. I've already got stuff installed on your computer where I get all your data shared instantly. I don't know if you read the contract that we made you sign when you join importantnonsense.com, but
you got to read that fine print.
I get all the data. Steve gets all the data. Jason does not get any of the data.
No, definitely not.
That was a very important part of the contract. But as we were saying, it's a best ball season over on Underdog Fantasy. And so I think it might be time to start it up.
All right, let me see here. What are we looking at, boys? What do we want to do here? We want to do the 12 person?
I would say so.
Which 12 person?
So Mason, being in Colorado, are you even able to join us in this? That's what I was wondering.
I should be. I think so. I think it lets me play best ball, but I don't think it lets me do the pick'ems.
So you can do the best ball, just not the pick'ems?
I should be able to do the best ball. I see all the best ball here. If not, I have a big bill in my account here that they've been trapped since they told me I couldn't do pick'ems anymore. So they got to give me some way to spend it.
Something. All right. Well, it looks like
I think that bottom one, that's a slow. Yeah. So this one, right?
Oh, no, wait, that's a slow one too, isn't it? Okay. 6 person. Yeah, that's a slow one. No, this pick clock's 30 seconds, but there's 10 out of 12, so we got to wait.
Yeah.
2 people quickly join that Underdog lobby so that we can
Although,
get
I don't know,
we
could join the $100 draft, and then that's just immediate access.
I was going to say, if you guys are big spenders, let's go. I've got a
Mason
stack
immediately drops out. Yeah.
Let me wait till I get some birthday card money next month.
All right, looks like one more person to fill that up, and then we'll get that lobby.
Which one?
That last one.
$3 draft, the 12 person fast.
Oh, should I join that one? Be the last person? Is that me?
No. We're not in anything yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
Easy.
Okay.
we're waiting for the.
I'm
We're
chomping at
waiting
the bit.
for a big enough draft to open up here.
I think you guys should do the $100 draft. Mason got that big signing bonus
I'm
from
saying.
PFF.
I'm running on adrenaline and ego right now.
Scary things to have right before a best ball draft. We got somebody juicing over here.
Let's see.
Mason is all jacked up on Mountain Dew, ready to draft.
That's right. Love it.
Shit.
And we will be ready all off season long with importantnonsense.com. Make sure you check us out for daily news and articles.
And speaking of, while we have the downtime here, we've got NFL betting stuff coming out on the website today, this week. It started this week. NFL betting is back, boys. Get in while it's hot.
All right, we're good.
Good dinner.
Yep. So there should be one that's 0 out of 12. That's the one you want for $3. $3 cash. Wow, notifications. There you go.
Perfect. There are already 4 people in the draft, and it's going to be an exciting one. The first draft.
Christian McCaffrey, RB2.
Are you surprised by that?
Yeah,
A little bit.
best ball makes sense for him.
Sure.
Oh, sorry. I thought you were surprised he was an RB1 for a moment.
Derrick Henry at RB4. Wow.
I mean, I don't know if anybody saw Justin Jefferson's hair, but he is 1.1 now. After that Randy Moss bro he's got going on now, that man is on a mission.
Yeah, the ADPs, first time looking at him this year. It's going to be an interesting season. We've got Dalvin Cook at the back of the first round. The 111, sorry.
I think I'm going to have to change how I'm sharing this too. I may have to just share the screen because you can't see the wheel because I just have the tab shared. All right, hold on one second.
Tricky. All these technical difficulties, all these legal difficulties,
Right,
getting
what if I
in
do-
important nonsense. Or
what
sorry,
if I do
getting
that?
on
Can we do
Underdog.
that? There we go.
Woo!
My Discord up? No, all right, perfect. I figured it out.
Did we change the name
Share
of the
window
wheel?
instead of share tab. It's the first episode of the season, boys.
First
Gotta-
episode of the season.
Gotta
We're
work the
waiting for
kinks out.
We're waiting for Doug Ford to get us approved here for Underdog Fantasy in Ontario. Fingers crossed.
I mean, would it really
Otherwise-
be an IN production though if it wasn't chalked in some way, shape, or form?
You're not wrong.
That's the charm.
Exactly.
We're just regular guys, you know? We're just
We-
people
we-
like you guys down there watching.
We ride off charisma,
Yeah.
frankly.
I don't know if
75% of
we
that charisma comes from Jack's mustache.
Right, pretty
True.
much.
Very true.
Those are accurate numbers. I've seen
20% comes from the
Hey, I
spin
don't-
numbers.
I may do plenty of things. I don't fudge numbers.
And so we are waiting for how many more? We have 5 people in the draft. We are
for
waiting
7 people. It says.
7 more join the best ball draft. And if you want to play along with us at home, you can you can hop in the draft, follow along with the Wheel of Wow.
Yeah, why not just jump in and play along too?
Mm-hmm. We
Nothing
don't
makes
bite.
it even more challenging whenever it goes like QB in round 1 or 2 and 8 QBs go off the board.
As you said, part of the charm that you get here at importantnonsense.com. And so, with that in mind, let's start looking at some of these picks. We've got Joe Mixon and Dalvin Cook at the back of the first round. Do you think they're getting discounted because of their age?
I think Joe Mixon's discounted just because he's always been discounted, right?
This is true.
I don't think that, the stigma has not changed around Joe Mixon in the past 3 years since he missed most of the one season, I think 3 years ago or something, 4 years ago. He has been discounted as a value second round pick in like redraft every single year.
And he's almost the same thing as Leonard Fournette, because Leonard Fournette gets the exact same treatment. No matter what he does, everyone still sees him as Fat Lenny who got cut by the Jaguars.
Back to 6.
We have people leaving.
I don't know if people are still worried about Cook's legal stuff because his isn't over yet either.
Dalvin Cook?
Mm-hmm. He had something over the offseason that was
That Schefter just loved to defend. That Schefter was so quick to defend.
Well, I would assume that's why Kamara is down at 10 right now.
Yeah.
The unknown
Yeah.
around his potential.
his was a lot more evidence, that's for sure.
Right.
So that's reasonable to have him more discounted.
It seems as though Alvin Kamara were pretty much just waiting for the
How long?
announcement of the punishment, and it sounds that might have something to do with his court case.
What do
So
we got? We got 6 people here. So while we're still waiting, I've got this open on the other tab over here. So we've got our Dave Fiorella stat book updated, same look and feel from last year, but he is continually updating it. You can see he updated it today. Every time there's a player transaction, he's in there making it happen, updating it. You've got how to use information, all of your notes and everything, abbreviations for anything you might be confused on, the frequently asked questions about how it works. But here's what I love about it. So you can put in your entire draft order. You can put in your entire scoring system. You can then go to the tracker page and literally follow along with everything that you're doing in your draft. And it'll give you the best available players based on the scoring settings that you entered, based on our projections from importantnonsense.com. So there you go. And then it's got this nice analysis tab that'll tell you how your bye weeks are looking. It'll give you your whole team on the side over here, your biggest steal based on current ADP, your biggest reach that you made, and you can analyze any team in the draft. It's very cool. He's done a ton of work on that. It is fantastic. And you can have complete access to that along with the rest of our projections and rankings and everything else in the tier 3 of our Patreon. So patreon.com/importantnonsense.
And it's so worth it. Even just the stat book itself is worth every penny that you pay.
Right.
And it gets you into the Discord. You get to chat with us, ask us all your questions that your little heart desires.
And the stat book is so amazing because everybody always comes away, especially like in my family leagues, everybody comes away talking trash about, oh, I drafted so well. I don't think I've ever met a person who's like, I really dislike my team that I drafted this year. But this way I can pull out the stat book and I can show you that, no, your team is objectively junk, Uncle John. Like, I don't know what to tell you anymore. So
that dang Uncle John. Uncle John drafted Tom Brady in the first round. That's not how you do this, Uncle John.
Then there's a bit of an awkward moment at the family reunion each year.
It's his own fault.
Brought it on himself, really.
You start playing the family softball game. You know, you think it's going to be a great time, and all of a sudden crosses the field and just slaps him in the face. It's just what happens when you try to IR stash Jeff Wilson.
How about that? What a time to be alive.
Do you like apples? How about those apples?
It's the most publicity that any fantasy football league manager has gotten since I can remember.
No, what's sad is that's the most publicity the MLB has gotten all year. That's what's sad.
I mean, yeah, that is actually accurate.
That's kind of bad.
One thing that was notable about that, though, is Important Nonsense has you covered to avoid those issues with bad commissioners, poorly managed leagues. Because Nee Wallace Bruce last year wrote a beautiful article about how to build a constitution for your league. If only
And if
Mike
you need
Trout.
us to be
Head
the
rest.
If only Mike Trout was a tier 3 sub to us.
Yeah. Missed opportunity, Mike. Come on.
learn
you
for
know
this
he's
year coming
watching.
year. Because you can also just have us as the jury, and we will vote on whatever issues your league is having. We'll get it figured out. Don't you worry.
I am more than happy to be the judge, the jury, and the executioner should a situation arise.
Of course. Of course.
All right, I'll tell you what. Anybody watching at home, we need one spot remaining to fill this lobby. If you fill this spot in the next 3 minutes, you yourself have a tier 1 sub to our Patreon. How about that? Let's get it going, boys. Just DM me.
Look at this side. Just giving stuff away.
Just giving stuff.
Mason, you have the power to do that? Jeez.
I just gave myself the power.
Guy gets hired by
PFF in his-
PFF.
And
all
all
of
of a sudden.
I told you, boys, I'm running off ego today.
Oh,
That's
now we're
it.
waiting. Here we go.
And we'll see how far that ego can carry you as you are drafting at.
All right, let's see what we got. I'm
Yeah.
at 4.
Ugh.
Oh,
I am
hey.
I am at the very
There's
end.
Dave Fiorella at 6.
Dave
Oh.
Fiorella knows best.
You guys weren't supposed to tell Dave. We want to win this one.
I can't help it. Dave's
Mason
got
at 9, and Mike. Oh, Mike on the back end.
I am at the very end, so don't
Doing the
screw up the
double
wheel
tap.
for me.
Double dipping.
All right, here we go. Here's the famous Wheel of Wow. Are we ready?
wheel.
I was curious if we came up with a new
Oh.
name.
No, it's still a Wheel of Wow.
Wow.
It got Matt Harmon's seal of approval, so it'll always be the Wheel of Wow.
Shout out, Matt.
That is a good seal.
Oh, and a
We are going
flex.
to
There
be
we go, baby.
flexing
That's
Best
a lucky
pick.
start.
on
Best
the
one.
haters.
That's a lucky start.
Flexing on the haters.
Flexing at 4, you say?
Now the rest of the lobby won't scratch their head while we're taking tight end in the first round, just to ruin everybody's best ball.
Especially
Kyle Pitts round 1.
especially with 4, 5 of us in here. If we would have gotten tight end, it would have looked really bad.
Ooh, Christian McCaffrey with the 101.
Come
Nonsense
on, give me
underscore
Eckler.
Steve on the clock.
Yeah.
Austin Eckler ahead of the receivers.
100%.
Austin Eckler ahead of Derrick Henry.
100%.
Quite literally not a controversial take at all. Literally
Yeah.
ahead of him in the ADP.
Especially
I mean-
with the format we play here. I mean, I got to go with the running back early because who knows the next time I'll get a chance. And even if I get a chance in the second round, will I want what's left? So, I mean, I got to go.
And that's the thing. We say that, but we also don't know who's available in every round.
Exactly. I have no feel for this right now. So,
ADP
Shooting
is just not at all registered to us. And Dave Fiorella goes with Jamar Chase off the board ahead of Derrick Henry, ahead
goes Henry at 7.
of Najee Harris, ahead
Oh,
of
Mason on the
Dalvin
clock.
Cook. Who Mason Dalvin Cook off the board?
I'm gonna lean in with my guy Aiden Ware here, where injury prone is a myth, and I'm gonna get a lot of production out of Dalvin this year. So we're gonna hope for it.
And so Mike will be on
we
the
wanna
board
spin our
in a
wheel?
moment.
For my second rounder,
After you make your selection in the first round.
it's only a 30-second clock.
He doesn't even get time to talk about his picks. He's just
No,
like,
this is gonna be like, all right, well, just do it.
Oh, there goes Diggs. All right. What do you got, Mike? So you can let me know who you're selecting, and then I'll spin the wheel.
Mm.
Okay, I'm doing. I'm gonna go Swift.
Who? DeAndre Swift. Gotta love those Lions. Gotta love the fact that they are going to be facing
Wide
a very
receiver.
easy schedule.
That's why I was scared there.
Believe Lions, baby.
We do believe in the Detroit Lions with an upgraded offense, pass catchers galore. Detroit is going to be competing in 2022.
And anybody that is a big Lions fan, make sure you check out Jack and Believe Lions on Sirius XM. Big plug.
Thank you. Thank you. You can find us on Sirius. You can find us on all of the podcast apps. And you can find Mike Manning taking Devontae Adams as his wide receiver 1.
Nice.
Really sure you want to do that ahead of Deebo Samuel, Mike?
Yes.
That's so rude.
I was perfectly fine with the head of Debo.
See, what the thing with Deebo, though, is you're getting the rushing upside as well. He's basically a running
Unless
back.
he gets his wishes.
Are you, though? Somebody tweeted out Deebo Samuel is the first wide receiver in the history of the NFL to demand less touches, and I actually LOL.
Not wrong.
Yeah, I mean, that is true. It was actually, for me, it was between 2 wide receivers, and Debo was not in that running.
I imagine CeeDee Lamb. Oh, Deebo ends up going ahead of CeeDee Lamb, too. That I cannot co-sign.
No.
Just you look at the differences of the offenses. Cowboys are very more firepowered. And the 49ers, new quarterback who's going to be pulling rushing touchdowns out of that offense.
The
Debo's-
big thing, though, with Debo and the Trey Lance situation is Debo was, in the short period of time that he did play, Debo was a head and shoulders above the rest of the pass catchers in the terms of targets. I think he was twice more than Kittle, and Ayuk was around the same as Kittle as well. So Debo should still get his looks.
He'll get targets. I'm not saying that he won't. I'm just saying the touchdown ceiling has lowered with the Trey Lance goal line carries that he's going to be taking. And is it going to surprise anyone if 2021 was the best season of Deebo Samuel's career?
No.
No. I'd be surprised if it wasn't.
Steve up on the clock.
Oh, I'm on the clock. Thanks for letting me know. I'm not even paying attention. Let's see. What do I got? I got to take a wide receiver.
Yep.
Hate Tyreek Hill. Won't take that on principle. Let's go Keenan Allen.
Oh,
Charger stack in a weird way.
going way down the board.
In the weird way, Mike
Yeah.
said.
I never understand when people say it's a stack when it's wide receiver and
It's
running
like-
back. It's like, oh, yeah, that's a stack. No, it's not.
QB, and that is why, my friends, because I will complete my Charger stack right there.
Okay, that makes more sense now.
Well, and at
Did
least
the wheel
with-
have to make me put my foot in my mouth?
I think so. The wheel's definitely taking exception to everything Mike says tonight.
At least Austin Eckler is one of the few running backs you can truly stack with your QB.
True.
Couldn't even finish my point, and then it still was like, no, he's going to take a quarterback.
It said, nah, chief.
Nah, fam, this ain't it.
This ain't it.
One of the articles I love every year is from TJ Hernandez, 4 for 4, and he does the breakdowns of best ball and underdog and DraftKings and all this. And like one of the recurring themes is how stacking has become more popular. But if you look at like Best Ball Mania, the $25 entry here on Underdog, or any of the bigger best ball tournaments, the stacks that tend to win are quarterback, running back, wide receiver. Stacking all three from the same team seems to give you a bigger advantage, just because if all three are having a good game, then typically, or if one is having a good game, typically the others are as well.
Yeah, it's
I mean,
very rare you're going to have a big wide receiver performance and the quarterback just poops the bed.
Right.
But if
So
the
with
quarterback
that-
and the wide receiver are doing well, probably not having too much from the running back.
It's obviously a
Well,
screaming
but
reach
you could
in
also
terms
say
of
that-
ADP, but obviously I'm going to continue my stack here.
I mean, you're committed.
You're pocket-hitting now. You got to go. I think the concept, too, of that also ties into, we're talking about if the passing game excels, then maybe the running game won't. But that's not necessarily what we see because, that end of game, especially through the true bell cows who don't get taken out like very late, you need that guy that's going to drain the clock out. So, maybe that is kind of why it comes out to, but.
And that's another thing that Josh Larkey touched on last year when he was doing his research. You can also build in negative correlation. So if your running back rushes for 2 touchdowns instead of catching 2 touchdowns, obviously it hurts your quarterback. But if you've built your team properly, you're fine. It'll end up balancing out most weeks, and you still can capitalize off of Austin Eckler 2 touchdown receptions and Keenan Allen 1 touchdown reception games. Totally possible.
Right.
And none for I can't even see or Isaiah Spiller. I couldn't even remember his name for a second. That's how little I care about Isaiah Spiller.
I care more about Isaiah Spiller than anyone else behind Austin Eckler.
That means
Chargers
literally nothing.
It's a low bar. But,
yeah.
I mean,
obviously the Chargers have felt the same way. That's why they added him.
I've been left the pick of the litter.
Except Joe Burrow. And Joe Burrow going ahead of Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes is
he took Chase, so he's doing the same thing. He's stacking.
Oh, sorry. That was Dave, and he was
Dave,
stacking.
yeah.
Never mind. That makes sense. Totally makes sense. I was thinking that it was just a regular person. It's like, wow, they took a quarterback that early, and it wasn't Allen
Forced
or
by the
Mahomes?
wow.
Is nobody else shocked that Jack was a second away from launching into an anti-Joe Burrow tirade, and I am absolutely shook by it.
Oh, no, I love Joe Burrow. It's just he's not a centaur.
Him going ahead.
He's not a centaur like Josh Allen.
Yeah,
he's not going to run.
The upside of the rest of this top 5 here is a lot more.
I just thought Jack was a true Burrow believer. I mean,
he's the best quarterback in the NFL, but that doesn't mean
all right,
anything.
So I'm obviously doing Josh Allen, so we can spin to see what I do in next round.
Take him.
I also do like the fact that Mason took Lamar Jackson.
There you go. See, I was actually waiting for Jack to pat me on the back for my Lamar Jackson.
The trouble with Superflex so early is because typically this is your shot at a third QB if that's the route you want to go. But now it's whatever you want. So the choice is yours here.
Hollywood Brown. Oh my goodness. 4th round ADP for Hollywood?
Yeah, it's a little high.
Ahead of Deontay Johnson, who gets 120 targets like it's nothing.
Ooh, Zeke, that's interesting.
Yeah, Zeke in the 4th is a great pick.
I
trust in the he was definitely hampered by his injury last year.
Yeah.
They I think are going to make a point of besides what is there in the wide receiver corps, it's going to be, I think, a lot focused on the running game because they even ran the ball last year a lot between both Pollard and Elliott. And it's going to be a high-powered offense with a very easy schedule. So I have no problem with pairing Zeke with DeAndre Swift.
Mason on the clock here, gets his pick of the litter and goes with Cam Akers, the one-legged wonder.
Yeah, and I'm not super I've always kind of been on the side that Achilles injuries really scare me. I don't think that guys come back fully from that. But he looked pretty decent in his return. Now I think he got blown way out of proportion in his return. Like people were, thinking he's going to come in and bell cow for them. But I think with even more time rest, hopefully he's going to look back as clean as he could be.
Go ahead. Sorry.
No. You go ahead, Steve. You feel free to elaborate. Yeah, explain yourself.
I have Deontay Johnson still as a top 10 projected wide receiver. And I was 3 picks away from him falling to me.
I mean, I'm not going to argue with you there.
So close.
The worst part is somebody named Mr. Meeseeks just took it from you, too.
Hi, Mr. Meeseeks. Look at me.
All right.
I don't think Steve wants to look at him.
Jack, relax. We're gonna get DMCA'd. Come on.
Yeah, that was too accurate.
I don't know. I think that was pretty
All right, now
parody.
what do I wanna
I'm
do
wearing
here?
pink. I'm not blue. Come on. We're far enough away.
Do
I don't think there was any
Kittle?
Meeseeks with a
Spice it up.
mustache.
You know what? I'm doing it. Why not? YOLO.
Yeah, you talk yourself into that.
I will. I will, and I already have.
That is so rude, Mike. He is your boss.
You only live
Look
once.
what's left at tight end now.
So take George Kittle.
Look what's left at tight end. Who cares what's left at tight end? Abolish the position.
All right, watch this be tight end now.
I
Oh,
know.
it's-
Oh, would that be just the wheel
Wide
spin in your
receiver.
face?
Thank you.
Take a wide receiver off the board here. And remember, if you want to sign up for Underdog Fantasy, make sure you use promo code nonsense for a deposit match up to $100.
Kittle is one of the most aggravating players in fantasy. Because he's one of those guys that once he's on the field, he can go for 200 yards, and you wouldn't really be that shocked. But just gets hurt so much.
And
He likes blocking too much.
yeah,
He does
spends
stop
a
blocking.
Stop blocking. Run routes. I'm tired of blocking.
Stop
I'm
being
tired
the
of you
extra offensive
pancaking
tackle.
I'm tired of you pancaking people. Go catch some touchdowns.
and that's the good thing about TJ Hawkinson is we thought he was George Kittle 2.0. He is nowhere near as good as a blocker, and so they don't ask him to do it. And that's great for fantasy.
I'm happy that's one of his short sides of his game, so that he can actually do the other stuff better.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of football sense, sure, it'd be great if you could block, but in fantasy, doesn't matter. I'd rather my tight end be a bad blocker, so he doesn't have to.
Exactly.
What, you're excited that Albert Akui-Boonham's going to be blocking for Russell Wilson this year?
No.
Yeah. Like what? Please don't put me in that position, Jack. I'd rather not have to think about that possibility.
He is bigger than Dolchich, but still, that doesn't always equate to blocking.
Wait, Chris Godwin is still on the board? What am I missing?
I don't know. In fact, he's missing at least probably 6 games.
Damn.
The ACL.
The dreaded ACL.
You know what?
The dreaded
Super
late
interesting-
season
I'm looking at
ACL.
points per game.
What's
Okay,
super interesting to me here, since we're talking slightly about the Broncos, is the connection between Sutton and Judy. How I feel like people just can't separate who's gonna really like branch out this season. So they're just like, put them together. Whoever you take them. And I don't think it's that cut and dry. I think that Cortland Sutton has a extreme advantage giving the deep ball that Russell has to throw to him. So.
And
Best
Cortland
deep ball
Sutton's
passer.
just been much better than Jerry Jeudy in his
Right.
NFL career.
Right. Absolutely.
We're still treating Jerry Jeudy as the guy who went round 1, and he's been good, don't get me wrong, but he didn't play much last year. In year 2, he didn't have that breakout that we really needed from him.
Dave, you're fired. Don't come back. I was going to take him. I was going to take him right from Steve.
See, I was actually going to take Bateman there because I already had Godwin marked off on my list. But, I get he's going to miss time, but we're talking best ball here. And even 12 games, on a points per game basis, I have Chris Godwin as a top 10 wide receiver. So I will take it.
And
But
so,
yeah, Bateman, I have way up there.
what, Steve, is a Rashad Bateman fan?
I know, right? Shocker.
Shocking.
I would not have pegged you as one based on last season.
Unlike Jack and his Bears takes from last season, I will be doubling down on my Rashad Bateman takes this year.
Well,
What did
I
you
am
do
here.
last year?
I'm here to say that the
No,
Bears.
I'm saying I will continue that now. But I mean, Jack, there's
The
no way you can
Bears-
say the Bears are back.
Are bad, baby.
There they are. Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to take Mooney so we can spin the wheel.
All right.
Wheel of wow.
Running back.
RB's coming off the board hot here. Elijah Mitchell still
Good.
available in round 6.
This is all gross.
AJ Dillon.
The running back
Clyde
position definitely the well dried up quick.
Top 3 running back from a couple years ago, Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Who scores more fantasy points this season? Is it Clyde Edwards-Helaire or is it Ronald Jones?
I think it's still going to be CEH.
That's a loaded question.
In what way?
He just said which one's going to be better. He didn't say, like, you're going to
You know we don't like either of those, so how am
gotta
I
love
supposed
one.
to talk up one? Yeah.
Every other running back in the backfield has not ever been a
The
pass-catching
real
running
answer is
back.
Derek Gore. But you know.
The real answer
At price,
is Isaiah Pacheco.
At price, yeah, I'd rather Gore than either CEH or Ronald Jones.
Yeah, this is.
I think it's just going to be a nightmare of a backfield.
This really is the dead zone of running backs here.
This
Elijah
is horrible.
Or
Elijah
this could
Mitchell
just-
is still fine.
Dylan.
How funny would it be, though,
Walker.
if Ronald
Walker.
Jones just leaves the situation he had in Tampa Bay, where him and Leonard Fournette basically went into the season neck and neck, and Fournette just took the ball and ran with
I
it?
think I just expired right at the last second, and it gave me the wrong spot. I got
All right.
the Gabe Davis now somehow.
Who are you hoping for?
I was taking Damian Harris, and I think I expired right at the last second. Uh-oh. Does that mean I get kicked out? You guys gonna kick me out of the group?
Was that an excited, like, you want that to happen?
No. So
You seem
so
a little
you-
happier.
you got Gabe Davis there. You got a wide receiver. So what you're going to have to do is take a running back on the next wide receiver pick.
Just flat wide receiver pick.
This is the look of a person who is not amused.
I think Gabriel Davis is going real high compared to where he probably should be.
Yeah.
he
We're in round
was
6.
he was at the top of ADP, but that's a bit much for me.
Who's ADP? Not mine.
Underdog. He was
Yeah,
at the top
underdog.
of ADP for a while.
Underdog. If you need somebody to make some consensus rankings for you, like my boys at IN are ready. We're ready to go.
Hey, we can't blame Underdog for their ADP. They simply follow the whims of their users. It's not their fault. Blame the stupid people out there.
Early
Gonna-
season best ball is an interesting time for ADP.
Steve with a running
This
back
is
off
tough.
the board.
All right,
because
Steve.
I hate everything Kansas City and CEH. So, but I'm also morally opposed to Kenneth Walker.
Why is it morally? I mean, aren't you just a plain opposed?
No, just morally opposed. You know what? I'll do it. I'll take the shot on CEH.
Ahead of star running back that Steve also loves, Kenneth Walker.
Steve
Just
just
said
keeps
morally
talking him into
opposed.
these picks.
You know what? As a Colorado Buffaloes fan, I'm morally opposed to anything Mel Tucker does. So forget everything Michigan State, including Kenneth Walker. How about that? How about that, Kenneth?
Running back, wide receiver. So you have to take a running back. Nathan.
Do I?
Yep.
Nothing like a football fan's spite.
No, Steve definitely going to take Kenneth Walker up here.
I like how ADP, there's all these wide receivers, and then it gets to Kenneth Walker. I agree with you, ADP.
DeAndre Hopkins,
This is
Adam
tough. There's some
Thielen,
interesting picks here.
Brandon Ayuk, Michael Thomas, some stars of the past and some stars of the future with Elijah Moore, Amon-Ra St. Brown, potentially Treylon Burks, even though he has had an uneven offseason.
You know what? Also, I have a bone to pick with you guys.
Oh man.
When we
What
were
do we
doing
do?
when we were doing combine stuff, I highlighted Treylon Burks, and you guys said, "Now who's laughing?"
God, this is so
Well,
Come
tough.
on.
it's not like he's showed anything, crazy
All right,
impressive.
so I could
right
take
yet,
Michael
so-
Thomas, who's a top 25 guy for me, but now I'm in the same boat. I've already taken Chris Godwin, who's going to miss 6 games. Do I take Hopkins too? All
Give me Thomas.
right. I'll take Thomas. That was tough.
Half of your roster has been painful picks for you.
I
It
can't
has.
believe I have to pick.
I told
Kenneth
you I have no
Walker.
feel for this, Mike. That's just another one where like DeAndre Hopkins is a top 15 wide receiver for me in projections on points per game, but he's going to miss 6 games with the suspension. So with having Godwin already, I'm going to have 2 of my 3 wide receivers miss the first half of the best ball season. I couldn't afford to do that.
At least outside of like appendicitis, Keenan Allen's going to be out there.
Right?
I think the only scenario where that
Punctured
makes
lung.
sense is in a tournament scenario where you need everything to hit for you to win anyways. But
Right.
in a regular best ball, you just best team wins. Yeah, that's
it's too
punting
risky.
too far.
Because, see, I feel like that's not bad if I've got the running backs to go with it and I draft well late with the wide receivers to fill in those gaps for the early weeks. Like, that could be a solid strategy when you're talking about the puppy or best ball mania.
So
Tony
the next
Pollard,
pick will be Mr. Mason Cameron. Who we going with here?
This is a mess. I had the opportunity to take DeAndre Hopkins, Adam Thielen, Michael Thomas, Treylon Burks, and Devontae Smith before I took. Who did I even take? Gabriel Davis.
Yeah.
And now I'm stuck here with my choice of Cordero Patterson, Kenneth Walker, and Damian Harris. I'm
Damian
distraught,
Harris is who
boys.
you wanted last round anyway, so it
I
worked
know,
out.
but
for you.
I'm distraught over
Mission
this now.
accomplished.
Ugh,
You understood the assignment.
did I? At what cost, Steve? At what cost?
Everything.
Goodness, Isaiah Spiller, 7th round. What are we doing? Isaiah Spiller ahead of Kenneth Walker?
And Damian Harris. Wow.
Oh my
At
God.
least Damian Harris, you can convince yourself. You'd be
This
wrong,
guy's
but you
got
could
no
convince
wide
you-
receivers at all.
Oh,
Bold
goodness.
strategy, Cotton.
He must be using a wheel too. Spin for Mike.
Yeah, because I'm going to go
Mike's
with Elijah Moore.
Okay.
Wheel of wow.
Wide receiver.
That's okay with me.
Some more pass catchers coming off the board here, and this is the perfect time for it to happen. Tyler Lockett still on the board. Tyler Lockett, perennial 4th, 5th round pick,
Don't do
falling
it,
into
Mike.
the 8th.
Don't do it, Mike.
Wide
Don't.
receiver 1 in Jacksonville's just sitting there.
Oh.
Not anymore.
Not anymore.
Sorry, were you saying something?
Well, remember, Christian
Perfect.
Kirk makes life easier for a quarterback, according to Trevor Lawrence.
I love that the conspiracy theory NFL Twitter was like, yeah, but the Jags are just gaming the system because it rose the wide receiver market. It's like, dude, they still had to overpay the guy, and it's their guy now. Like, how does that track?
Yeah, that would make sense if they overpaid or like set the market for the top wide receiver. They did it with Christian Kirk.
did
They're
it
still
with-
stuck with them.
They did it with a guy not in the top 10, not the top 15, 20. I mean,
I still have some belief, though. He was a good player. Young. He got a lot of money now.
I like Christian Kirk. Don't get me wrong. It's just,
It'll be very Well, yeah, it was a stupid contract.
yeah.
sorry, Steve.
Amon-Ra St. Brown off the board to Mason.
That was a big sigh. Steve couldn't even hold that sigh back. His disappointment was immeasurable.
Oh, sorry.
And
That was
his
just
day
me
is
swallowing
ruined.
my water. I'm good. I really don't want Amon-Ra St. Brown. I'm actually surprised he fell as far as he did because his ADP I thought was much more in line with how people are feeling about him. Brian Robinson, it's that same
Brian
guy.
Robinson.
I feel like that guy is literally just drafting all running backs.
I'm glad I got like a solid stable of running backs before he, vultured everything. Or just took the entire stable of running backs.
He is the Mike Tolbert of best ball.
These are all painful picks for me. You're right.
Marquez Valdez-Scantling.
VWR1 in KC.
All right, I'm going with the wide receiver one. Gotta do it. Lazard King. Gotta do it.
Is he the wide receiver one? Because he hasn't even signed his tender yet.
He's certainly a wide receiver.
And he has one as one of his numbers in his jersey.
Correct. I think we're on to something
Conspiracy theories are going all over the place here.
Ego is a powerful drug, boys.
As long as he's on the field, he's the best wide receiver for Green Bay right now.
This one's going to be fun.
Tight end. All right, that's not bad. Rob Gronkowski's still going tight end 11, just on the hopes that he comes out of retirement.
Yeah, I was about to say, wait, is this man even playing? I was like, wait a second.
I mean, all the belief is that he's just going to not do anything until the very last day.
There you go. Set it and forget it.
He's on the Michael Strahan final season path. If you've watched the Super Bowl documentary on the 07 Giants, Michael Strahan talks about how great it was to pretend he might retire just to not go to training camp.
I mean, if he sat there a week before the season and was like, yeah, I think I'm going to play, they would be perfectly fine with it.
James Cook goes in the 9th round, but Isaiah Spiller goes in the 7th, and Brian Robinson goes in the 8th.
Was that the same guy?
No.
Okay.
Color me flabbergasted.
Didn't you have to think?
Nope.
Big Dawson Knox guy. Are you excited for him to be this year's Robert Tonyan?
On this list, yeah, I'm a huge Dawson Knox guy.
I mean, I would have taken him if he made it to me, but that's just more so the slight bonus he gets because of stacking with Josh Allen.
Even with Pat the Fat Fryer on the board, Mike?
These are all in a similar tier when it comes to at least just this year. There's a handful here that are either you're hoping for a breakout or you've seen past production, but the situation has changed in some way. Like Ertz is going to have more competition at least by halfway through the season than he did any time last season. Hopkins was gone the entire time Ertz was there, basically. Now Hollywood Brown's there, and then Hopkins is going to come back. Freiermuth, I mean, yeah, he's a great player, but we also don't know who specifically Trubisky/Pickett are going to target in Pittsburgh yet, even though I think that Freiermuth
who's going to start when either.
Yeah. There's just a lot of question marks around a lot of other guys. So Knox is basically you're hoping for continued efficiency.
Well, and I don't think it's fair to write off the possibility of Mason Rudolph starting the season as well.
I think it is very fair to do that. There was a lot of Pittsburgh media. I know that in Jacksonville, I think it was C.J. Beathard went down with an injury, and a lot of Pittsburgh media was like, "We have a Mason Rudolph we can interest you in."
That would be ideal.
If only you could find some suckers.
So you're going Gronk, pure ADP here?
No, I'm not going Gronk.
Value pick here.
Irv
10
Smith.
seconds. Irv Smith.
And for all the people at home, if you also hate picking tight end, go on to shop.nonsense.com and get your A Ball Tight End t-shirt. End of plug.
We are straight running back, right?
Straight running back, yep.
running back.
Oh man, Rojo's just sitting there. I can complete the set.
Chase Edmonds going at the top of the 10th is absurd.
I mean, he's gonna have his days.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about
Great
that.
the 5 weeks he's on the
So,
field.
Sony
And
Michel.
in best ball, you don't even have to pick the 5 weeks.
Exactly.
You just get them.
Edmonds going to easily have a couple games where he has like 8, 9, 10 receptions for maybe 70 yards, 60 yards.
You know who was great in PPR at times last year? Myles Gaskin. And he's not as good as Chase Edmonds.
And like Jack has showed several times on Twitter, if you look at the backfield's contracts they have, one sticks out a lot more than the rest. Happens to be Chase.
Yeah. Sony Michel or Raheem Mostert is not making this team.
If Raheem Mostert can make it through the offseason.
And he's still rehabbing at this point.
Yeah.
So moral of the story. I know we love these ambiguous backfields a lot of the time. Miami, we do not love Raheem Mostert or Sony Michel. In a league like this where you're forced to keep them on your roster all year. When you have waivers, great. Not here in best ball.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Oof.
Michael
Thought he was gonna
Carter.
forced me to take Ronald Jones there.
Was that Mecole Hardman that went, Interesting choice.
Stizzy, I think you need some help, my man. Check us out,
Is that his
importantnonnonsense.com.
first wide receiver?
We can help
Mecole
you
Hardman?
get your best ball
That is.
game right.
That is his
Oh boy,
first
and
wide
it was his
receiver.
first wide receiver. Okay, that's going to be an interesting projection at the end.
Do we know that that's not actually
Alexander
Jason's
Madison.
burner? Is that not Jason's burner?
I wouldn't be surprised if he had like 3 burners.
QB.
I'm pretty sure Jason is a burner. Plot twist. Jason is actually who would be hilarious for Jason to be in disguise. Jason is actually Paul Rudd in disguise. Just one of the many characters that Paul Rudd plays.
All right, just keep in mind here, boys. Superflex is already off the board. So this is your backup quarterback. Do not draft someone that has the same bye as your starting quarterback.
That is what I was just looking up. I was like, okay, yeah, I definitely forget what Josh Allen's bye week is.
I mean, you don't have to. There's no rule that says you have to start a quarterback every week.
That is true.
And so, with our next pick, it will be Steve coming up in a moment here. Lots of thoughts here for Steve. Who is he going to pair with Justin Herbert? Week 8 bye, which eliminates no one on this board right now.
Yeah.
Can you do another like 3-person team stack?
No, I'm going to take Deshaun if he's there. And I assume he'll be there.
And if he's not there,
Probably Fields.
Ronald Jones off the board. Sorry to break your heart.
You can't write this stuff. You really can't.
Dave Fiorello will be up next with his quarterback of choice.
How's Dave looking over there?
Yeah, let's check. I was just thinking
Got
that.
Joe Burrow.
Okay, hold on.
Dave Montgomery.
Hold
AJ
on.
Dillon.
Why is Joe Burrow's player picture that picture?
Why not?
I mean, yeah, why wouldn't it be?
No, I love it. I love it. I'm just saying that.
Wasn't Fitzpatrick his Tampa Bay press conference he
Was
had
it?
with the
Yeah, it
sunglasses and
was.
stuff?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
I mean, if they take a good picture, gotta use the good picture.
Oh, here's Stizzy. Is he going to add someone to his core of Mecole Hardman?
2 quarterbacks. Oh, Kenny Galladay.
He's got it. Now he's set.
just the fakest of wide receiver ones.
Man, that's pretty strong. So he's got Burrow and Cousins. He's got David Montgomery, A.J. Dillon, Tony Pollard, and Michael Carter. Don't love those secondary running backs. But he's got Chase, Evans, Bateman, and Ayuk. That's pretty solid.
Those are a good top 3 wide receivers there.
And even with the 3 RB2s, they'll hit some weeks.
Yeah, you just need one of them to hit.
It just did me
every
again. I literally hit draft at 2 seconds and it goes psych. It did me again.
Use that Quev.
Yeah, you got to cue people up, Mason.
Yeah.
My bad.
Rookie mistakes here.
Mason gets Christian Watson.
It's the first
episode.
It's the first episode.
Yeah.
It's not called Mason knows bets. It's called Jack knows bets, guys. Come on.
So now the next flex or wide receiver, you have to take a quarterback.
I hate it here.
This is what you've done.
This is the bet I
on
got to
yourself.
sleep in it.
Yeah. This is your Colorado internet coming back to bite you.
All right. I know who I'm taking. It's going to be Fields.
Okay.
Thanks,
That
Mike.
Mooney
Appreciate
stack. Were you going to take Fields?
Of course I was.
Yeah.
Wide receiver, so that, of course, is a quarterback for Mason. In case anybody forgot.
Oh. It's okay. I'll get it right this time.
Plenty of beautiful wide receivers here. You
Some
got
decent value back here.
And again, I'm stuck with the choices of Tua, Trevor, Jameis, Mac Ryan, Zach Wilson. So it's a glorious day.
Well, there's some value, and then it falls off a horrible, horrible cliff. Fiery death.
wow. People hate DJ Chark. Going behind Jamison Williams, who isn't going to play to start the season.
And signed money to essentially be the wide receiver 1.
Mm-hmm. I don't think he will be in actuality. I think that will be Amon-Ra St. Brown because Goff likes to check it down a bit more, but still, it's very feasible.
Yeah, in
It'll
a
be
low
interesting
passing
because-
volume offense, Chark was still a top 30 wide receiver when he was healthy in Jacksonville. So to get him at wide receiver 67 right now in ADP feels kind of crazy.
There's just so much optimism about these players coming back from their ACLs during the season that it's going to be interesting how they respond.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's no guarantee that the rehab goes smoothly and that they return at the earlier time frames that people are projecting of the rehab.
Everyone just saw Cam Akers recover from an Achilles and decided, hey, injuries don't matter anymore.
Yeah, I was going to say, this isn't Madden. Injuries aren't turned off.
And don't get me wrong, injury prone is not a thing. That's not real, but
No.
we still have to pay attention to the recovery model. These things exist for a reason.
I mean, I can't say I've ever had a major injury along those lines. So I don't know what the rehab and things like that are like. Not that I'm a elite athlete like an NFL player, but it's still going to affect guys differently.
Sure.
So it's very easily, there's a future in the 2022 season where Godwin,
Nick's Tolbert. I thought I
Jameis Williams, some of these guys just don't even play at all.
Steve back on the board, and he's definitely going to take the ACL Jamison Williams.
You know what I'm doing. Just stick to my brand. Come on. I couldn't get Bateman. I got to get one of them.
I mean, I'm pretty sure even all the drafts I did last year with this that you were a part of,
Mm-hmm.
I think you got one share of Rashad Bateman that I remember seeing.
And I had to talk Steve into not firing you for that. It was like a long conversation too.
Well, I mean,
last year, the majority of Rashad Bateman that I didn't get was you. I'm pretty sure between you and me combined in every draft I did, it was 100% ownership. Pretty
Just
sure.
because I trust your input on, when you pick a guy that's your guy, I'm like, oh, this is a smart pick. I should follow this guy's stuff. I mean, obviously, you're really happy that you didn't fire me because here we are now.
Obviously. Don't make me regret that decision.
Not too late.
Can't promise anything.
Yeah.
Oh boy, the ever wonderful backup tight end. I have to go back and check my bye weeks again.
Hey, Gronk is still there.
See, this is when it makes sense.
I didn't even check if Dawson Knox and Kittle shared a bye week. So they're good, though. I got it. It's fine. It worked out.
Oh, no. What would you ever do without those 4 tight end points?
All right. Give me Bobby tons of fun. I'll take that.
Robert Onion off the board.
Possibly going to replicate his double-digit touchdown season because Rodgers has to throw to somebody.
Probably Aaron Jones. Historically, it's Aaron Jones.
It is. If it's not Devontae Adams in the game, it's
When
basically Aaron
Devontae
Jones.
Adams is off the field, Aaron Jones becomes wide receiver 1, historically speaking.
I think, what does he average, like 8 catches a game with Devontae Adams isn't on the field or isn't playing in the game? I believe it's something like that.
I don't know if it's catches, but certainly targets.
Mm-hmm.
Probably catches too. Probably just everything. He really dominated at times without Devontae Adams.
Gronk's report says, a day ago, Bucks reportedly remain optimistic. I sure hope so. I, too, am going to remain optimistic because if I sacrifice 4 points from a tight end, I don't really care.
Oh, Stizzy. Put Corey Davis on that stellar wide receiver core.
Oh, wide receiver 3, Corey Davis. I
Who's
mean,
got
there was a
4 on
year
that
where that was a good idea.
In best ball, he's actually a
Dotson.
very solid option, I think. Even though Zach Wilson can't seem to can't be that accurate, it seems like, based on all the reports in training camp. Having some trouble with accuracy. Not something you want to see.
He's got Hardman, Galladay, Dotson, and Corey Davis. What a receiver core.
I don't think I'd even be able to win a game in Madden to that.
Even even if you want to go hero running back, like that's your strategy, go heavy RB here. He's got keep skipping away.
It's all grinders. You got Nick Chubb.
It's Harris, Chubb, Jacob, and then there's going to be like Gibson, Spiller, Robinson. Like it's a
Najee
weird
Harris
combination
is the
of
only
players.
guy that catches passes there.
Yeah, the rest of the team's going to combine for not as many catches as Najee Harris
Gibson.
has. Oh, wait. We need to spin the wheel. I'm taking Njoku.
Okay. Wide receiver. What a weird combination of running backs to go with your lack of wide receivers.
Just what a weird draft.
Mm-hmm.
What a weird person. Wide receivers currently on the board. DJ Chark, people just 14th
Goes with the hometown
round.
pick.
Pickens.
I just love Pickens as a player. And I don't think he's going to be consistently viable, but that's why this is a best ball draft.
Right.
Martavis Bryant hit from time to time.
Deontay hasn't been the healthiest player. You can always count on like one game a year or something like that. And Chase Claypool is just a confusing player.
There it goes, DJ.
He's shown such bright spots.
Football_Mace. It's Mason. Are you gonna have to update your account?
Oh, I am. I'm gonna have to do all of that.
PFF_Mace.
But then I'll have to change it back, and they inevitably figure me out as the con man I am, the swindler.
Right.
This is true. You can only. Oh, you know what? Even Urban Meyer was able to keep the grift going long enough.
I am definitely the Urban Meyer of important nonsense. I'm sorry, that was bad. That was horrible.
Reminded me not to ever invite you out to the bar.
Mike, I was drinking something.
Sorry, I was looking at the draft board. I
almost just spit all over my computer.
Great, now it's going to auto pick next time again for you with something wrong. Just as an excuse this time.
All right.
Joke's on you. I've actually been picking all these players. I'm just telling you that the clock expires. No.
Right,
Oh, no.
Pierce.
Mr. W. Goebel just made a fierce enemy in Steve by taking Kenny Gainwell. A pick before.
I mean, that's a decent pick in the 14th round. That's pretty good value there.
It's not like they're going to abandon the run in Philly. It's just you don't know who's going to be the guy because Sanders doesn't stay on the field and also had trouble scoring touchdowns.
He was dealing with that high ankle sprain all season too.
Oh, I always forget I'm the last one.
I do
Wide
think
receiver
that
again.
this is the year Kenny Gainwell passes Boston Scott in full.
Boston Scott or Miles Sanders?
But he's definitely going to pass Boston Scott in full. He's going to work on Miles Sanders. I don't think he'll get all the way there just because Sanders is bigger. He's still going to have a lot of those between the tackles runs. William Fuller. Do they think naming him William instead of Will makes it more attractive to draft?
I think it's just interesting that he's going ahead of guys that are actually on a roster.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, you know what? Those finger injuries, they can cost you an entire season.
Apparently.
What happens, though, when William Fuller signs with the Cleveland Browns?
I think his ADP is going to skyrocket.
You're right.
Even though
I'm going to take a shot on KJ Hamler.
Doesn't hurt to target good quarterbacks or the weapons of good quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Whenever you're late like this.
Curtis Samuel really fell too.
Yeah, I thought about Curtis Samuel too, but I already have 3 wide receivers with a week 14 bye.
Sammy Watkins.
Trying to spread out my buys a little bit here.
Guaranteed a good week 1 from Sammy.
Yeah, definitely.
That'll counterbalance the 6 weeks that you'll miss from one of your players. You didn't end up with Hopkins.
Just the one. I didn't take Hopkins. I decided against it. I talked myself out of it.
But you did take Michael Thomas. Is he going to start the season healthy?
I would still be surprised if he didn't.
See, my whole thing with the Michael Thomas thing is I don't think it's an injury. I think it's a thing that he's under contract and he doesn't want to play. He doesn't want to play for them.
Yeah, I still believe a lot of last season was he didn't want to play for Sean Payton anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought the big spat was between him and Peyton.
I don't know that. But what's Dennis Allen?
He didn't really deal with him much being the DC.
Does anyone know?
How is he going to be happier about it, though? That's what I mean.
Does anyone know what Dennis Allen is like as a person? He seems pretty boring.
I don't think he has a personality.
I'm sure. Exactly. Whereas Sean Payton, he did not come across very well.
No, that's why Kevin James is going to play him in a movie because they're the same type of just insufferable person.
I can't remember who told this story on their podcast, but someone met Sean Payton at the combine where they're all sauced up at the combine, of course. And so a fantasy analyst asked, so why don't you give Alvin Kamara more goal line touches? And drunk Sean Payton looks at this character and says, Alvin's soft, and walks away. And that's just what I think of Sean Payton. That and the bidding war he got in for Tommy Stevens, the quarterback turned tight end, where he said his words, I'm done asking, I'm taking, and then drafted the quarterback. Traded back in to get the quarterback he wanted. and then didn't make the team. That's who Sean Payton is.
What are you thinking, Mike?
I'm going to do Paris Campbell.
All right.
So we can go ahead and see what next round's going to be. Well, it's either going to be running back or running back or receiver.
Running back.
It's
I
always,
do-
no matter how big the circles get, it always loves to land right on the edge.
Loves the drama, man.
I do believe that Underdog added an extra 2 rounds as well.
Did they?
Yeah, I think it's 20 rounds now.
Now I can take Julio Jones too.
No, it's just 18. Maybe for the big one.
That might be it. Or maybe it was just something they were playing with before I got banned from Underdog in my province.
Well, you didn't specifically get banned. You don't want to put that out there.
It wasn't.
No.
Yeah, it wasn't just you as a person.
No.
The mustache got you blacklisted.
That, don't put that
Marlon
slander
Mack,
out.
what a pick. What are your feelings on Marlon Mack, Mike?
There's a more than 0 chance he's the starting running back for an NFL team.
See, that's my argument. Is I feel like of the guys they have, he's really the most established. Like he's shown he can handle the workload, and I trust him more than anybody else.
I don't think that Lovie Smith's exactly against running the ball.
Right.
That's been his MO his entire career as a head coach.
I strongly believe it'll be a committee like most places, but I think Marlon Mack gets a majority of those touches, especially at the beginning of the season.
Yeah, it will definitely be a committee because Marlon Mack has never really caught passes in his career.
Right.
But that's why they have Rex Burkhead.
Right.
And on the flip side, they're not banging Rex Burkhead between the tackles. They tried that last year because they had to, and it ended up with, I think, 2 yards a carry. So, yeah, Marlon Mack is going to get a lot of touches to start the year until Damian Pierce shows he's ready. And that might not even happen because he was a 4th rounder, we have to remember.
Yeah, I'm not convinced that happens.
Yeah, day 3 picks are never guaranteed anything.
No.
So it was between him and Darrell Williams. And that was just banking on the expected James Conner injury at some point during the season. And I don't even think Williams really lit things up. He just was a solid fill-in.
Nah, he's just a good enough running back.
Yeah.
I mean,
Look at this embarrassment of riches that Steve has to pull from.
of these options, I mean, I feel like Kenyon Drake is the best bet here.
What was his injury that ended his season?
Broken ankle.
I was gonna say, I thought it was like a fractured ankle or something along those lines.
He's still recovering as well.
Taysom Hill, the interesting tight end selection.
Oh, and he does count as a tight end too.
Yeah.
Officially.
Way to try and swindle the system.
A tight end coming off Liz Frank surgery as well
Yeah.
to end the season. That's another one. I would not have high expectations for Taysom Hill, even if I believed he was going to dominate as a tight end, which I don't because he's a quarterback.
Ugh.
Running
Can we
back.
please stop? The running backs are dead already.
So that means the last round is going to be running back, wide receiver.
So it's going to be wide
Yeah.
receiver.
Wide receiver, basically.
Yeah. I don't think anybody's interested in these selections that are here.
Hey, Dearness Johnson could make over $2 million this year.
Just trying to see if there's
Me
any-
too, I guess. I mean, if we talk about, I mean, potentially, I could also win the lottery.
I think it's more likely that Dearness Johnson hits his incentives than you would in the lottery. Then again, you did win the the PFF lottery earlier today, so who am I to
judge? That's right.
You know what? Why not take a shot?
The RB2 in Buffalo. I find it hilarious when I'm doing my depth chart tweets. All the people who still cape up for Zach Moss.
I know, it's crazy.
I didn't know there was still people fighting for Zach Moss to stay on the roster.
Zach Moss apologists run deep, Jack. We're everywhere. We're your co-workers, we're your friends, we're your family. We're everywhere.
There are too many of you. There are literally dozens of us.
He said there are literally dozens of us. Oh my gosh. You know it's a good show when we get an Arrested Development quote in there.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't even Jordan McDonald who brought it on.
I know, right?
Yes. Zach Moss.
Jordan somewhere is so proud. He's doing the Leo point right now.
Hey, I know that kind of joke.
Yeah, that's the thing, though. Zach Moss, I'm sorry, but it's over.
Mm-hmm.
You don't get healthy scratched multiple times.
Right. And then they draft a running back and sign Duke Johnson.
Yeah.
And expect to keep your job. I still think Duke Johnson right now is the best pass catching back they have.
Established, yes, because we know he can do it in the NFL. James Cook is more of a projection based on the athleticism, but he's no slouch. He's definitely a better pass catcher than Devin Singletary already.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh.
But yeah.
JaMychal Hasty on the boards. James White.
Okay, I have every New England running back, so in theory, I can't miss, right? You have to.
Did you draft Pierre Strong?
No, actually, I didn't.
Did you draft Kevin Harris?
We have one more pick.
Yeah.
Did you? Well, even if you draft Pierre Strong with that one more pick, it could be Kevin Harris, or it could be Ty Montgomery,
who finally switched from number 88.
Did he?
No.
Yeah,
no, wait, that's Jacksonville.
Well, then he's going to be no good. They could have put him in the Hall of Fame off that.
That's the thing. Numbers matter when you're a running back. If Breece Hall had kept number 35 this season, he'd be garbage. Absolutely. Now that he's number 20, now he could be an RB1.
On the Jets, yeah, in theory.
In theory. The offensive line is very improved there.
Shooting for the moon.
It's all going to come down to
You're going to have a great
Zach
week
Wilson.
one, Mike.
I know. It's going to be awesome.
Outrageous.
And if I could drop him afterwards, I just would.
It'd be great.
But I don't even have to worry about dropping him because it'll just leave him on my roster and just not care about it.
We're going to spend all summer talking up week one Watkins, and then they're going to sign Odell. And even with him being hurt, they're still going to cut Watkins in training camp.
It's very possible. There was that final person on my roster. Just like maybe for Green Bay, the final person to make the roster.
Yeah. Low risk.
I mean, it was down to two guys. So I figured I'd go with Sammy Watkins. The other one was Kendrick Bourne, who had his moments in last year. There was random 100-yard games or random.
Did you take Julio and Odell? Did you take both guys that are sitting at home?
Maybe. Look, it's best ball, all right? It's best ball. Isn't that our
You see how there's two players that don't have anything underneath them?
It's best ball.
Yeah. So he's got two players not on a team. He's got two wide receivers that he auto-picked when he was supposed to be picking something else.
Yeah.
And they're not even good wide receivers.
Joke's on you guys. Stizzy is actually a good friend of mine. We talk about concepts on fantasy football all the time.
Plot twist, it's actually Neil.
See, what they don't really know is that this is all a ploy. I'm just like softening them up for our dynasty startup again, just so that
there's a lot of crap left over here.
Excuse me, these people are people.
I didn't say they weren't people. They just have no fantasy value for me.
They're just crappy people.
I mean, they could be great NFL players. That means nothing to me for fantasy football purposes.
The point of best ball is to take those dart throws.
Mm-hmm.
These are those dart throws. Another ACL injury, Mechie.
We're taking a lot of guys weak in the knees.
Nick Westbrook-Akeen still on the board.
The possible number 2 in Tennessee.
Very possible.
Cedric Wilson.
The wide receiver 3 in Miami.
Yeah.
I just find it hard to believe that they're going to actually be able to sit there and have Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, Mike Gesicki, whoever catches from the backfield, like Lee Edmonds, and then still have Wilson do very much.
Right.
Especially in an expected run-first offense.
Right.
With
I think the
quarterback
hope, the biggest hope for Cedric is that you face enough defenses that are just focusing on the guys on the outside, and they're just getting Cedric Wilson on short slants, and that's just all they do. That's basically.
Plus, he's shown to be a gadget guy.
Yeah, like
he's throwing a few touchdown passes.
Yeah. But again, like you said with Sammy Watkins, 18th round pick, so
you could just close your eye, and
whatever. Yeah.
Click a couple stars and be like, all right, let's see which one I got.
That's convenient of you guys saying now. You didn't say that a couple rounds ago when I took Odell.
I should have taken Mark Ingram, RB1 for like 6 or 7 games, and
yeah, very well could be.
All right, I feel pretty good. I of course got my Jason Draven stack with Herbert, Eckler, and Keenan Allen. But I got Herbert and Watson, Eckler, CEH, Madison, Drake, Johnson. The back end of my running backs are rough, but that's okay. And then I've got Allen, Michael Thomas, Godwin when he comes back from the injury, and then Lazard, dart throw, Rondale, who I still think could have a breakout year, but that, of course, got hampered by Hollywood. We'll see what happens. And then Pierce, Hamler, Wilson, dart throws. And then I got Kittle at tight end. I feel pretty decent about that.
The only one with 3 tight ends.
Yeah, I used one of my flex picks on it. But we've played this game enough that if you don't get a tight end early, you know you're just never going to get one. So I took the shot.
And it made sense to get Kittle as the last top tight end at the time.
Right. All right, Mason, what do you got here?
Well, I let it off with, Jack's favorite, the Lamar Jackson. Gotta love the rushing upside. I'm thinking I'm really going to hang on to that. If anything happens, I've got Jameis. I'll take the interceptions. Hopefully he throws it out of his mind again.
2020 vision.
Yeah, you want to see LASIK Winston. So
right.
Here we go. Running backs, I feel less confident about for obvious reasons, mainly because I hate everything to do with New England's backfield. But here we are, and now I just hope it's not Pierre Strong. Let's just say that. I'm just literally crossing my fingers. And then down here, I like to think of myself as the innovator of zero running back strategy. So here we go with my very stacked wide receiving core, including Gabriel Davis for some reason, which I conned you guys into thinking I didn't draft, but nothing's by mistake here.
All on purpose.
All on purpose. And I love the value of getting Amon-Ra St. Brown a little bit later. And then, at the end is my big gamble dart throw at the end. Because I have, Odell, Julio, they're not out of the league. They're going to be playing this year. We talked about how, Michael Strahan did I don't want to go to OTAs, so I'm going to pretend like I'm retiring. And I think the same thing could be said for, Odell and Julio. They're aged guys that don't really, have to be around for camp. Like,
Julio's going to be a Colt. Let's be honest.
Yeah, I'd be surprised if that doesn't work out somehow.
Right. So, frankly, I think you're going to look at these guys are going to fall into decent places, and at the very, very end of the draft, it's worth some dart throws. And then at tight end, I mean, I don't even care. You can go to the next person. Abolish the tight end position, please, and thank you.
Now we can look at the best one that we have here. Since Jack isn't here, I'll just.
Oh, what? You want to look at Dave's? Okay.
I mean, obviously, Josh Allen's been the number one quarterback the past couple seasons. That's easy. And I got the stack with him and Jamison Crowder. Double stack. With he's going to get, like, if he's healthy, he's going to see 100 targets likely, or around there. Mm-hmm. Justin Fields with the stack with Darnell Mooney at a cheaper stack. The running backs, there is a good bit of upside. Swift and Edmonds are two of the most versatile pass catchers that are in the NFL. You got Zeke, who is hopefully going to bounce back. Elijah Mitchell, if they don't pull a Shanahanigans again and decide somebody else is going to be the lead back, then that's obviously not going to be a great pick. But then you got Marlon Mack and Deontay Foreman. Mack could be the starter in Houston. Foreman could take over whenever Christian McCaffrey possibly gets hurt. Wide receiver core, I think Devontae Adams, Darnell Mooney are going to be target monsters, no doubt. Elijah Moore is electric. I love him as a player. It's just going to be if Zach Wilson and him can have that connection that they didn't really have last year. Because most of Elijah Moore's big games did come when Zach Wilson wasn't actually playing.
Right.
So not ideal. And in camp, it's not sounding great. But they're at least hanging out a lot. So that's good. People have to pay attention to social media.
Their Madden connection's fantastic.
Kirk, he's going to get a lot of targets. If he doesn't, then they spent a lot of money for no reason. Crowder,
money for no reason.
Yeah, well.
I didn't want to be the one to say it, Steve, but you own the site, so you have that in.
Spent a lot of money for no reason.
Pickens, upside guy. Paris Campbell, when he's on the field, he has shown a lot of talent. He is a great yards after catch player. And then Sammy Watkins, if I can get that 1 week, if I win that 1 week because of him, I should be happy. It's an 18th round pick. That's fine.
Sure.
Week one's going to be bussing for sure.
Yeah. And then two of the most athletic tight ends in the NFL with Njoku and Smith. So they're going to each have their weeks. Hopefully they don't coincide together and they can alternate.
Oh, he added Trey Sermon to the mix on that.
Oof. Yikes.
Just the perfect way to cap off the worst draft. Zay Jones, Curtis Samuel, Brian Edwards.
You know what? I want to see this instead of just dragging my guy Stizzy here. Let's put out an offer. Stizzy, if you're watching this, my guy, come in. We have a spot for you on the next Jack Knows Best. We'll get you right. We'll get your stuff all set up. My guy, we'll have you looking good for best ball season. Don't worry about it.
Give us your side guy.
At the very least, following the wheel can't be a bad thing for Stizzy.
It's not too many times we.
That's what I'm trying to figure out too. Like, I don't know if I don't have a feel for it yet, or if it's that the wheel wasn't very friendly to us. But I just feel like all of our running back cores are terrible. Maybe it was Stizzy just slamming the running back market. Not that he got any decent ones, but just that he was hoarding so many of them and made other people panic draft them. Yeah. I feel like all of us have like one solid running back and then an okay RB2, and then it just falls off a cliff. And I just don't know if that's running back this year. And that's just how I'm feeling about it. Right. Pretty much. But I just feel like there was a lot more depth last season when we were doing this, that I felt more confident about the mid-tier of running back than I do this year. Less confidence.
I definitely feel like that there's the running back dead zone is not as there's a lot more optimism than there was last year when it comes to the middle rounds type running backs that you're going to take.
Uh-huh.
So if you're going to look at guys like ETN and even CEH has an outcome where he is going to be a fantasy producer at a high level, like a high-end RB2 possibly. he's on a prolific offense. Maybe they look to run the ball more because they lost Tyreek Hill. So you never know. But I think that there's a lot more optimism to some of these guys with at least you can see it happening.
Right.
Where they are far out producing their ADP.
Right. And I think a lot of what goes into that too is that, it's just a crapshoot at one point and somebody has to run the ball for all these teams. And sometimes it's just not a guy we even expected. Like last year, Jackson Lions had, what's his name? Williams. Jamal Williams. I almost called him Jameson Williams. I got Jameson Williams on my mind. They had Jamal Williams, just break out. And a lot of the times that's what highlights why, like, it's a little different from best ball than it would be from redraft because, you can utilize the waiver wire to get a hold of that. We don't really have that ability here, but that's why it's going to be a crapshoot. And eventually, we might have one of these guys that we were only so on who ends up actually being a really great option for us. So
like this
There's
guy
a lot of rookies.
Jonathan Taylor at pick 2, and then didn't take another running back until James Cook at 98.
I mean, I can understand that strategy. You're going to count on Jonathan Taylor to, be your lead guy in the backfield.
Aaron Jones, Connor, Hall, and then Gainwell. That's not bad for having only 4.
Yeah, not bad. That's also the guy that took your Rashad Bateman shares, I think.
Was that him or was that Dave? I think it was Dave.
Oh yeah, no, it was Dave.
Yeah,
never mind.
That was Dave.
Derrick Henry, Javante, Travis Etienne.
I thought Meeseeks did it. Never mind.
We had a number of characters in this draft. This was a good group. I appreciate all these 12 people here.
Mixon, Dobbins, Gordon. I don't like that.
Don't like Melvin Gordon,
Sanders.
Steve?
Oh God, I hate this one. This is
Oh boy,
that's a rough one. I like Melvin Gordon. I have no problem with Melvin Gordon. I'm just saying this build, I don't like this.
Dobbins and Edwards. One of them will hit, unless neither of them do.
I don't think either of them.
unless Lamar does.
And like you went Mixon and then weak at running back, so you went hard at QB for really no reason. AJ Brown is going to be polarizing because people can't decide if they love or hate him being in Philly. And then Cooks is all right, and then a whole lot of nothing.
Hey, he's got the KC stack with Kelsey and MVS with Mahomes.
Yeah,
yes, you went Mahomes, Mixon, Kelsey, and then straight garbage.
Well, that was a fun return to Jack Knows Best.
We did it.
We did it. It got
nothing burned down.
We managed. And isn't that the most important thing? Just to manage.
If nothing catches fire, it's a good day for me.
I guess I have slightly more optimism than you guys.
Yeah.
Well,
how my day is normally going to go.
On that note, no fires around. Thank you all for tuning in. You can follow Mason at PFF_Mace. You can follow Mike at _Mike Manning. You can follow Steve at @nonsense_Steve. You can follow me everywhere at Javanaugh87. And you can buy all of our important nonsense merch over at shop Steve, what is it again?
Shop.important nonsense.
I said dash and then I got confused. Shop.importantnonsense.com. Check out importantnonsense.com.
Yes, you are correct. Nothing is on fire, so it was a good one.
Mm-hmm.
It's all we can ask for, truly. So make sure you tune in each and every Monday at 8 o'clock Eastern to Jack Knows Best. And until then, keep up the nonsense.